Okay, get this. What if I told you that the best advice for your career, maybe even for your entire life, doesn't come from some modern business book, but from a story that's over 1,000 years old? And what if I told you it all kicks off with a hero ripping a monster's arm clean off its body and then nailing it to the wall as a trophy? Yeah, it sounds brutal, I know, but believe it or not, that one grisly act holds the key to the whole thing.
We are talking about Beowulf. And look, I know it's an ancient poem about fighting monsters and a dragon, but it's really about something way closer to home. It's about how to be strong without being cruel, how to age with some dignity, and, how to deal with that problem that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning.
So let's get the quick background here. Beowulf was written down in Old English, but the story itself is set in Viking Age Scandinavia. Our hero, Beowulf, sails over from Sweden to help out the Danish king. His to-do list is pretty simple. Beat a monster, then beat its mom, then go home, become a great king, and eventually face one last epic battle. Think of it as part action movie, part life lesson seminar.
But here's where it gets really brilliant. The genius of Beowulf isn't just the cool monster fights. It's the structure. The poem isn't just a random series of battles. It's perfectly built to mirror a human life, broken down into 3 distinct acts. So this isn't just some old story. It's like an ancient map for your modern journey. Each of these big fights lines up with a stage of our lives. The fight with Grendel, that's the raw challenge of being young. The battle with his mother, that gets into the messy complexity of adulthood. And that final showdown with the dragon, well, that's all about our later years, facing mortality, and thinking about the legacy we leave behind. So let's start with Grendel. Think of this as your 20s. It's that time of pure, raw courage when all your confidence runs headfirst into chaos. Famously, Beowulf decides to fight Grendel with his bare hands. He literally strips off his armor. The lesson here? This is the time to take on those first big challenges. The bad habit, the toxic job. But it's not just about brute force. The real winning move is dropping your ego, your armor, and fighting smarter. Next up, you've got Grendel's mother. Now, she's not just another monster. She's a grieving mom looking for revenge, and the fight takes place in this murky underwater cave. I mean, what a perfect metaphor for adulthood, right? For our 30s and 40s, problems are no longer simple and out in the open. They're hidden, they're complicated. We're talking finances, family, taking care of loved ones. And to win this fight, Beowulf has to find a new weapon right there on the spot. The takeaway is you need better tools, more wisdom, and a whole lot of empathy to navigate these murky waters. And finally, we have the dragon. Decades have passed. Beowulf is an old king. A thief steals from a dragon's hoard, and the dragon goes on a fiery rampage. Beowulf knows this fight will probably be the end of him, but he goes anyway, out of duty. This is the battle of our later years. It's about facing our own mortality, about what our life's work really adds up to. And here's the gut punch. When Beowulf fights, almost all of his men run for it. Only one young man, Wiglaf, stays. So the poem leaves us with this huge question. Who's your Wiglaf? Who is going to stand with you when it really counts?
So it becomes pretty clear that these creatures aren't just fantasy beasts. They're powerful, gut-level metaphors for the very real demons we all have to face. They're our own problems, just given teeth and claws.
Let's break it down. Grendel is basically social rot. He can't stand the sound of joy and community. He's envy in monster form. In our lives, he's that toxic habit or negative influence that keeps us isolated. Grendel's mother is all about grievance, that endless cycle of revenge. An eye for an eye. It's the grudge we can't let go of. And the dragon? Oh, the dragon is simply compounded neglect. It's that small problem we ignore for years until it grows into a full-blown catastrophe. The daddy you never backed up, the relationship you let wither away. So, if the monsters are chaos, what's the antidote? The poem's answer is crystal clear. The hall. The great mead hall Heorot is the center of everything. It stands for community, safety, trust. It's where you build your tribe. But before we can understand the hall, we have to understand the worldview. A huge concept is word, which is kind of like fate. It's the idea that, look, monsters are going to come. That part's a given. You can't control it. What you can control is your character, your actions, and how you choose to face that fate. And that's where the hall comes in. It's the structure you build to face the inevitable together.
The whole world in Beowulf runs on what you might call a trust economy. It's a two-way street. A good king gives out rings and swords to reward bravery. In return, his warriors give him their loyalty. It's a powerful system, and it's built on a few simple rules. You welcome people generously. You reward them fairly. You tell the stories of your tribe to keep your identity alive. And above all else, you stand together when the monsters show up at the door.
So how does that translate to today? It's surprisingly simple. If you're a leader, you praise your team's successes in public. If you're a parent, you make your dinner table a little mead hall. That means phones down, stories up. You create that sacred space where your family can connect. And as a friend, it means you show up when it's inconvenient. That's the Wiglaf move.
And listen, this isn't just some fantasy idea. Archaeologists have actually found the foundation of a massive Viking hall in Denmark, a place long connected to the world of Beowulf. It was almost 50 meters long. This world of great halls and fierce loyalty, it was real. People really live this way.
All right, so we've gone through the poem's structure and its deep meaning. Now let's make it super practical. Here is your Beowulf-inspired battle plan to take on the challenges in your own life.
First up, pick your Grendel. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by a dozen different problems. Just choose one ugly, important issue you're going to face this month. Name it, define it, and then go after it with everything you've got. Second, upgrade your sword. Remember how Beowulf needed a better weapon for the second fight? Same goes for us. Don't fight office drama with more drama. Find a better tool. Fix the broken process. Strategy and the right tools will beat brute force every single time. Third, and this is so important, choose your Wiglaf. Take a second and really think. Who is that one person in your life, your friend, your partner, your teammate, who you know without a doubt will have your back? Acknowledge them. Appreciate them. That loyalty is the most valuable treasure you will ever find.
Fourth on the list, build your hall. Community doesn't just happen by accident. You have to build it intentionally. So make one weekly ritual with your people, your family, your team, absolutely non-negotiable. Protect that time, protect that space, fiercely.
And finally, mind the hoard. Remember, the dragon was only a threat because it was guarding a stagnant treasure. This is a huge lesson for our lives. Knowledge, money, time, these things are meant to be used, to circulate, to be invested. When you let them stagnate, well, that's when they start to breed dragons.
Listen, you're not going to fight a literal dragon, but you are going to face late-night fears, you're going to face complicated grief, and you're going to face your own final tests. And when you do, remember the lessons of the hall, the importance of asking for help, and the power of hope. If you boil this whole 1,000-year-old epic down, it's about a simple, powerful balance. Be strong and be kind.
So that brings us to the end of our explainer, but really, it's a new beginning for you. Take a moment, ask yourself that first question from the battle plan. What is the one ugly, important problem you need to face? Be honest with yourself. What's your Grendel?